Hello, everyone. Good night, New Jersey. Good morning, good evening, and good night somewhere else in the world. Chief Instructor Doug Worthen, Chief Instructor Robert Thompson, who's actually off today. We just coming in to report some stuff that's actually been going on in the last couple of days in our city where we work at, and some of the people where. That lives in the city, some horrible stuff that we actually need to catch up on and need to report and talk about it so everybody can know what's going on, right? Absolutely. So let's start with July 8th. 6-year-old child, I believe, was shot.
Yeah.
And was the child killed?
No, he was suffering from, I don't know, I didn't get all the details on if the child was. He's still alive.
He's still alive.
Yes.
Okay. So, and that particularly happened on Central Avenue, First Street, right?
Yeah.
And what's so interesting is that same day is I was coming off the highway, and I was actually passing that area, getting back to work after picking up our lunch for that day, and I saw all the commotion, but I didn't hear anything over the radio as far as that child being shot.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how. This situation is just going on in this city. I mean, what is your thoughts on that?
Well, it's getting real bad when kids started getting shot, adults started getting shot, and they're not the target. That's the bad part about it. And a 6-year-old kid, what can he be doing? He outside playing, and all of a sudden he gets shot in the stomach.
Right. And it's so bad because. Certain places have so much to offer, and and the property value goes down. The block, the neighborhood, it starts to go down because of these tragic shootings.
Absolutely.
And everybody will, they will say, oh, the guns are bad, the guns are bad, the guns are bad, and it's not the guns that are bad. It's the people who are utilizing them the wrong way. It's in the hands of the wrong people. They're getting over illegally. They call ghost guns, where they come into the country, or either people are burglarized. Their homes are burglarized, and they weapons are stolen, and even somewhere we've read where people actually, law enforcement and security agents actually were stuck up for their own weapons.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's crazy.
They coming from out of town. The guns getting here. The kids buying them. You can buy an AK for less than $700. And that's one of the most dangerous guns around. I mean, kids is getting shot for no reason. On July 8th, they have an award for $10,000. Anybody got information on that?
Yeah. So you have any information regarding any shooting of this young child? Officer Thompson said, $10,000 reward. Just call in. Crime Stoppers. And you don't have to give up any information. All the reward is by a number, right?
Yeah, number.
Right.
You
by
give
number.
A code number.
Right. There's a code number, and if there's an arrest, a possible conviction, depending on the terms of it, of the outcome. If the arrest is going to lead to some type of conviction, the prosecutors will actually let up off that with
the number.
Right. Good. So
it says non-threatening. He's good.
Okay, great. So we're glad to hear that the young that the child is in the recovery process, and we hope that that child makes a full recovery from NJShields. Hope you feel better and you get back on your feet. So we want to talk about and we want to move on to that particular night going into July 9th.
Absolutely.
Okay, overnight there were actually reported cases of 5 individual shootings. Okay, so let's start with the one at the club. Okay, called the Boulevard.
Yeah, it's called the Boulevard. It's on Marbury Street in West Kenny.
Yeah. Marbury Street, West Kenny, over by Oliver, somewhere right over there between Oliver, West. Yeah. So basically, the information that we received, someone opened fire, and it's a tragedy because some of the people that was hit, we know personally.
Yeah, absolutely. We know a couple of people that was hit, and they're gonna survive. No one got killed. That's great. But the individual, they said he was inside the club, and they started in the club with the bouncers. This is the information. I don't know how true it is. Mm-hmm. And when they threw him out, they said he pulled up in a Jeep, and people were standing outside, and he started firing. They said he saw one of the guys that he had an argument with, and he started firing at him. I don't know how true that is, but just the information. And a couple people got hit. A couple people got hit in the stomach, legs. I mean, it's just crazy. He opened fire, and it's innocent people. People are out enjoying themselves. You can't even enjoy yourself in this city.
It's like you have to be a heartless individual to actually get into a situation with someone, get kicked out, go to your vehicle, come back, pull up, and just open fire.
Where people standing outside, you don't even know if it's the right people.
And the people you open fire on are people who wanted to enjoy themselves, who have children at home,
Absolutely.
young children at home, older children. Really doesn't matter what the case. It's senseless. It's reckless. Really, really reckless. Just to open fire. You have to be a heartless person to go and lay down, to go to sleep, knowing that you put some people in the hospital and possibly could kill somebody. I've seen people shot and actually live 10 years and die 10 years after from their injuries from 10 years, 10 years earlier.
Absolutely.
So you have to be a real heartless person. So if anybody have any information on that individual, have anything regarding that, please.
All the shootings.
Please.
That night, it was half a dozen individuals who went to the hospital on separate occasions.
And there was a shooting on South 19th Street,
yes,
I believe. And thank God no one was hit at all. There was no casualties regarding that, no victims at all. So thank God for that. At least out of all the shootings with that one, there was no one hurt.
It's getting bad. It's getting bad out there.
It is. And unfortunately, it's good people can't protect themselves. Because the gun laws restrict the good people from protecting themselves.
Absolutely.
And when people talk about restrict the gun law, it doesn't hurt the criminal. The criminal don't care what kind of gun laws you have.
Because it don't affect him because he's not illegal anyway.
Exactly. So they don't care. So when they come out with these strict gun laws, it's only actually hurting the good people.
That they can't defend themselves.
Exactly. You can't defend yourself.
If you walk around and you go to the grocery store, and somebody go in the grocery store and rob the grocery store, and you in there with a handgun, maybe you can prevent somebody else getting hurt. But in the state of New Jersey, you can't do that.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Unfortunate. It just a tragic, bad situation.
That's why we have high crime here, because citizens can't carry their weapons. Other cities that has
concealed carry.
Concealed carry, and you don't hear all about that. You don't hear all about that because I don't know if you have a gun. I walk in the store and I rob it, or I shoot at a club or something. Schools, when we talked about the schools,
right.
where you had the security guards or the teachers or somebody who has a weapon. Come on,
right?
They can protect somebody.
Exactly. And if you do hear about it in the states where they have concealed carry, if you do hear about it, very rare in the news they report that the armed citizen had took down the threat.
Absolutely.
They don't really like to report that.
No.
They don't really like to report it. But you will find it, and when you find it, you'll find an article about it. But nobody's not making it big.
That's not good
making
news.
A big deal out of it.
That's not good news.
Right, exactly. It doesn't make good news.
No,
exactly.
it don't make good news.
And all these, news stations that are on TV that we rely on to give us our information, they always report what the negative stuff. They would never report that. Some things, won't you report some of that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, won't you report some of that? But they don't want to. You know what I'm saying? So great. So now we'll move on to the next segment about this, as far as the areas of where these high crimes come at within New Jersey.
And in New Jersey, Newark, it's always the number blocks. The number blocks is the worst blocks. I don't know if it's the people that live there, it's just the area, or they just got in the mindset of that. I mean, it brings the value of Newark to the worst. I mean, they on the top 100 most dangerous towns. They number 7, as worst. The value of the houses. People don't want to move in.
People don't want to move. Exactly. And I was saying that to somebody the other day. It's like I saw some nice, beautiful houses in nice parts of actually Newark, but I I don't want to do it because the city itself as a whole, because of those number blocks that you was talking about. So you have high crime over here and you have no crime over here and real quiet. But guess what? The value of that city itself, people don't want you mentioned Newark. People, oh no, I don't want to go see you. Right, I don't want to go there. I don't want to see you. And you're like, well, I don't live over there on that side. I don't even want to go through there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's bad for the city. I mean, you got good people who grew up here, who lived here all their lives to see the city go down.
Yeah.
And it's so sad.
Yeah. And I see a lot of improvements. There's a lot of things that's
Absolutely.
being built. No more
Absolutely.
bandit buildings, no more lots and stuff. And they actually
Over the
working
years.
on that.
Over the
Right.
years,
And they
absolutely.
actually still working on to get rid of some of these spaces and put up certain things in the neighborhood. And I just want to touch on, sometimes when I'm leaving home, and I'm in my car and I'm headed back to my town, which is like about 5 to 8 minutes away, and one night I was like, well, let me count what's on this street leading from Newark before I get into my town, which is Irvington. And I've counted numerous of bars, Chinese restaurants, chicken shacks, liquor stores, and clubs, and churches. And it seemed like, is that all is being offered? I did not see not one fresh produce market for healthy eating, okay? Not one diverse, when it comes to advancing diversity of religion. Not everybody's a Christian or Muslim in Newark. I'm actually an Israelite. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
There was nothing there, okay? What about, the liquor stores that's plummeting our neighborhoods in our area? These guys, they just put, and guess what? None of them are the people that live within our communities. They live outside of our community. So they put this stuff in our communities amongst our people, and then guess what they do? They leave and go home somewhere else, and they're not even around.
I mean, yes.
Lady Capri says Irvington has its blocks too that are bad.
Yeah,
Essex County.
Yeah, you're right, Essex
come
County,
on.
and we're gonna touch on that. But right now, we're focusing on Newark, and we're gonna move on to the different towns that has its problems.
And I want to just say they number 5 on the list as most dangerous towns.
A matter of fact, let's go through the list right now.
I don't have them all,
to
but
get it out the way. So whatever we have, let's go through it, and we'll get the rest later.
I have Camden number 1, which everybody know the population over there. It's so little, and this unemployment rate is crazy. Atlantic City, and we know that because of the casinos, we're supposed to bring in a whole bunch of
financial
money,
income, right?
but they didn't. And Atlantic City's here, and the ghetto's here. It's right outside. You got Wildwood, then you got Asbury, then you got Irvington. I mean, these places, it make it bad because everybody reporting this. Not saying that
can be 100% accurate.
100%
Right,
accurate.
100%
Because
accurate.
some towns cover it up. They shooting, they murder rates, to make it look good and want you to come in there. And when you get in there, you stuck.
Right.
If you buy a house or something like that.
Right.
But where we talking about is Newark, because we work in Newark. We see it. We understand that the unemployment rate is lousy here. It's at one of the worst. And I don't know what politics doing with it. I mean, when Sharp James was in there, not saying that the mayor today is not good, but when Sharp James was in there, and Sharp James employed a lot of people for City Hall. And when he did it, he brought in jobs, he brought in the, like what you're saying about the empty lots, he fixed them up.
Right.
He made
right.
sure that the empty lots was a house on there. Boom.
Right.
And he made it affordable for people because he started giving out grants with the government.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to go back to that. They got to bring people in here. They got to do something. We got the stadiums and stuff like that, but that's on the one part of one part of Newark. That's downtown Newark. What about the number block? We got to do something about the number blocks. We got to do something with the people itself too, of bringing in not the bad people and bringing in the good people.
Right.
And that comes with the bail reform too. If we can get to the bail reform.
Right, exactly. And what's so interesting is that when you talk about city officials and you talk about the town where I live in, where I'm actually appointed as as a constable in that town, and actively still appointed, but I really don't hold a position anymore. Okay, my paperwork is just sitting there, and I'm undecided about if I should take on that position again. However, the fact is that the mayor of that town has come in and made a lot of changes.
Absolutely.
He's made a lot of changes, in Irvington, and I've seen it come from here and it's moving in the direction of going up. Okay, so I say kudos to Mayor Tony Voss, who's doing an excellent and great job. And the thing about it is that you don't have to agree with everything that everybody does or what they want to do when it comes to politics. But however, when you see improvement and you see greatness headed in that direction, you have to give that person the thumbs up because they're trying.
He make it accountable when you got empty lots. Somebody own the empty lots. Somebody own the abandoned building. I mean, make them accountable. He comes in and he finds them. He comes in there and say, okay, I'm gonna tear this house down, but you're gonna pay for it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm gonna do it, and then we're gonna see if we can build something on there. Sell it back to the city. Let the city sell it and get good people in here.
Right, and before he became mayor, there was a lot of property that people was owning and not paying taxes on. And the city is not, and the town is not generating the revenue, to keep the town up. And this man's like, no, this is not going to happen anymore. If you own that, you're responsible for it. And here's the bill. Pay it or either stay out. You understand what I'm saying? Which I think is a great idea for anybody. I mean, it's just right. Because if you live in that town, you want to see that town prosper. You don't want to say, I don't give a damn about this town. That's where you lay your head at. Because once the town start going down, and then the crime rate starts to come in and start getting flooded.
Absolutely.
So I mean, kudos to Tony Voss, mayor of Irvington, for doing an excellent job by me.
And also Newark mayor. Don't count him out. I mean, he got the largest city in New Jersey, and that's a hard task to take on.
Exactly.
I mean, they handcuff him on a lot of stuff. Exactly. He's trying his best. We can't downgrade him, but we just got to say law enforcement got to come in and do a little harder on these shootings. And both police departments, Irvington and Newark, who collaborating together. Absolutely.
Is working hard. I give them my thumbs up because it's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's real hard out there, and these guys are not really getting what they really deserve by being out there. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate, but hopefully, these mayors are making changes with that, and they working diligently and hard to make those changes. And we know that sometimes the budget does not specify or can't hold a certain amount of police activity.
Absolutely.
That we would like, or that not so much we would like, but that the city would like. And and people have to understand is that, listen, if the budget is here and you're asking for this, and then more need to be put into the pot with these taxes so we can have this. So I can only work with what I have here. You understand what I'm saying? And try to make it better. And that's about it. So we need to understand before we start criticizing something. We need to understand what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And also they putting a lot of police officers in the academy, so they're going to build right back up because they were short a lot of police officers.
Right.
And that's another thing about crime. You need the presence of police officers.
Exactly.
If you're short of police officers, the crime's going to be up.
It's going to be up.
That's a good thing that the academy is starting to really build up. People starting to really come out, and if you want to join the academy, take the test.
And that's what I said before, is that if the town not getting revenue, and then how can you employ people to work in the town if the town is not, getting any revenue from it? People are not paying any taxes. People are not, people are not moving in. Businesses being forced out. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. You need that. You need that money.
Right. You need the money coming in, for support. So financial support brings what? Safety, public safety.
Absolutely.
That's what it will bring. Okay.
Let's turn to the bail reform of the police trying to do their job. The governor changed the bail reform.
And I mean, honestly, I know what it is being in law enforcement a long time. You know what it is being in law enforcement a long time, and you actually working diligently right now with bail.
Yeah.
So I mean, even though I know a lot of our viewers don't know, who are not law enforcement, who don't understand bail. So exactly explain that to our viewers who are not law enforcement, how bail works.
Well, the first of the year, January 1st, he changed the bail reform. When it was supposed to work out for the individuals who did non-violent crimes who couldn't get out of jail because just didn't have the money. Somebody shoplifted meat or something like that. They didn't have $125. They didn't have $225 to get out of jail. That was supposed to affect them, but it affects the individuals who doing high crime. People getting out who doing murders, who's doing robberies, carjacking, burglary. Guy, he did 20 burglaries, and he was out every time in less than 72 hours.
And that's crazy. It's like they created this policy because it's a policy.
Yeah, it's a policy.
But there's no stipulations or regulations on it. Why?
Well, let me tell you, when you go to a bail bondsman, the bail bondsman give you a bond. If your bond is $20,000, you got to pay him $2,000. That's 10% of the bond. What happens is that you got to have co-signers. The co-signers is responsible for the individual to go back to court. If he don't go back to court, instead of that $2,000, you forfeit, because it's automatic forfeit when you go to the bail bonds. It's $2,000 period. That's the bail bondsman, but he has a bond of responsibility.
No.
Now it turns into $20,000. Who's responsible for that? The family. Whoever co-signed is the ones that's responsible for $20,000 and responsible for the individual. So that means that if I sign on for you, I'm responsible for you to go back to court.
Right.
Now what they're doing is that when you go to court and the judge lets you out, no one's responsible for you. They tell you, here you go, this your court date, come back. I go in to win because I don't want to go back to court.
So they sign on their own recognizance.
Yeah, absolutely.
On any kind of
now who's responsible for you? You ain't got enough police officers. You ain't got enough law enforcement to go after these individuals. They get caught when they get caught. Because a lot of people, they didn't come back when it was bail, but the bail bondsman had enough to go out and get them and hire them and bring them back to court.
And that puts the bounty hunter out of business because
absolutely.
nobody is paying the bail.
No.
So the bondsman, can't say, hey, let me get my guys to apprehend them. You know what I'm saying?
But,
and then
they don't have nothing to do.
Because they have nothing to offer now. There's no financial income, right? That's exactly what it's saying. And then now you have the police department who are swamped with warrants already.
The bounty hunters and the bail bondsman was your first offense of catching the individual who went on the run. No matter where he went, if he went down south, if he went anywhere in the United States, the bail bondsman would send an individual or a team of individuals to bring him back to court. And the judge always appreciated that. The police always appreciated that. But now the governor cut that out because it don't affect him.
Wow.
I mean, when he get out, we hoping the other judge go right back to it. Even when the judge say, I'm gonna put you on a bracelet, and the guy cut the bracelet off, there's no consequences because the bracelet is cut off. So he's gonna get no more time than he already is as a fugitive.
And destruction of government property.
Well, they don't see it like that.
Local or state government property.
They don't see it like that. They don't see it like that. You just cut the bracelet off.
So basically, what we're saying is that nobody's taking responsibility.
No
for
one's
crimes
taking
that they committed.
responsibility.
No one's taking responsibility for handling the situation of crimes that's being committed.
Who's responsible for it? Not the government. Not the police department. Now, when you had the bail, they was responsible, and 9 times out of 10, they catch them and bring them back. Now you got a rate right now, 1 out of 10 getting caught. Now that means that the criminal that they released it, who had a violent crime, saying carjacking, murder, attempted murder, had a gun, had drugs, what do you think you're doing? The same thing.
Same thing.
If he say you get caught,
there's no consequences.
no consequences.
There's no consequences at all.
I get out in 72 hours.
Right.
Before they were sitting in there until your family member, your girlfriend, your wife get you out, but they're responsible for you. And
Right.
9 times out of 10, they're gonna tell on you because I'm not losing my house for you.
Right.
Now
Exactly.
it's like, here you go. I see you next month.
Wow.
That's sad.
It's a sad situation.
Sad
It's a
situation.
really, really sad situation. And you know what? I want to move on to this while we're talking about that, while we're talking about criminal activity, that I get these alerts of certain crime that comes in the area on what to look out for. And I've been getting a lot of emails and messages on pedophile activity within it. And guess what? The information that I receive is a lot of these pedophiles who's getting out are not registering. So I'm getting these alerts, and I did my investigation. I looked, certain things up, and guess what? The whole town is flooded with these pedophiles.
Absolutely.
And you say to yourself, you have children and grandchildren
They go to school. A lot of them go to school by themselves, or they walk with each other.
Right.
And adults don't be around. And the whole thing is, when the adults ain't around, I go snatch a little kid, and they don't get in trouble for it. So, somebody got to be accountable for all these crimes right now.
Yeah, exactly.
They gotta be credible.
And it's like wow, you have to watch your children. You have to. It's like you're stuck. You don't want a stray bullet to fly.
Nope.
And then you don't want nobody kidnapping or molesting your children. And it's like you really have to stick by your children like white on rice. You know what I'm saying? To keep them safe and make sure that they're really, really safe.
But a lot of people have to go to work, so they rely on the group of kids walking down the street. I mean, what kid's gonna really do to adult?
Right. Exactly. And listen, our viewers, write in. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know your comments. You have any questions? Just let us know. We'll appreciate it, and we will answer them. Do we have any?
No.
Great. Okay, so we want to move on to our next topic. So what is so we finished the list of as far as the worst cities that we have in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
So we went through that. Now we want to talk about the job placement, unemployment, population, whatever, so on. And you have some notes that you wanted to go over.
Yeah.
And the reason why we're going over this is because sometimes you have to look at what makes this city so terrible in a lot of ways.
Well, and we going hard on Newark. We're going hard on Newark because of all this crime right now, and it's getting sad. The household income is the 7th lowest in the list at $33,000 a year, and then if you got 3 or 4 kids, that's not going to make it.
Right.
The home value of a house is not even over $250,000, and that's sad right then and there. But that comes to unemployment. It's the 5th worst around. So that means that how am I gonna buy a house if I don't have no job?
Right, exactly. And what's so interesting is that I'm in the process of looking for a house myself, and the requirements is driving me so crazy. It's like every day I'm getting calls. Well, give this, and I'm like, I gave that to you. Well, and it seemed like every day that something doesn't speed up, I have to resubmit it again to keep updating those records. And I finally reached out, and I'm like, listen, why am I going through this? All my bills are paid on time. You know what I'm saying?
You make good money.
Exactly.
I mean, this is where they need you.
Exactly.
They need you to come into town
Right.
that you're a good citizen, you legal with your weapon. I mean, I would want you in my town. So
Right.
why wouldn't I make it easier for you to come in there?
Exactly, and that was my thing. And you know what the reply was? Oh well, because of all the bad loans that was given out through the banks that the government had to bail out.
That wasn't our fault.
One bad apple had to spoil it. Right, and it
That
wasn't.
was their fault because they saw money. They wanted the upfront money, and I don't care if you lose your house. I don't care if you go in foreclosure. We deal with that later.
Right. Bailing these banks out and stuff like that.
You bail the
It's like you're
banks
bailing
out.
these banks out, and
Bail the
they're
banks out.
constantly making money all the time.
Absolutely.
But we can get into that, and next thing you know, we'll probably be getting phone calls and be on the investigation if we say exactly what we really feel about what's going on. So there's to the point in line where we just keep our mouths shut, okay? So before we move on to the next segment, I want to just say hello to Susan Dean. Susan Dean said, good evening to all. Good evening to all of you. Thank you for your wonderful advice and your services. Susan, thank you very much. We appreciate you, and continue to log in with NJShields. Okay. Yvette Nichols, good advice. Stay safe out there. Thank you. We appreciate that. We'll try, definitely. Lewis says, yes, stay safe and get home safe. Thank you, Lewis. We appreciate it, and we'll try very hard to do that.
We trying to. All the shootings, we don't know.
Okay. Letitia, she said, yes, it's true. And I'm glad you agree with a lot of the things that we're saying here. So keep logging in to NJ Shields. We have a lot to offer, and thank you for logging in with us.
And we're not trying to downgrade what's going on. We're trying to see what's the solution that's going on.
Right, exactly. A solution to the situation. So we
We're
just don't want to
not-
sit back and see it and not
we
say
don't-
nothing.
We don't want to criticize, but when kids and innocent people starting to get shot for no reason, we have to do something. We have to come together and do something. It's sad that a 6-year-old kid had to be rushed to the hospital with a stomach shoot. I mean, wound.
Shot shot in the stomach.
That's crazy.
You know, to the abdomen.
Absolutely.
And it's sad because you know what? I look at it like this. You know, I have 2 grandchildren, and I also have a young daughter that is 2 years old. Also, and how would I feel if that happened to my young daughter or my 2 grandchildren?
Any of your kids.
You know,
I got 2.
Any of them.
I got 2 kids in college.
Yeah.
What if I hear that they run down the street because they drive and everything, and somebody carjacked them and shot them?
Exactly. Especially with my middle one, who's a male.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? Very big boy, very intimidating. Anything can happen.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying?
absolutely.
You know, and I tell my older children, I tell them all the time, you have to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, watch what you say. You know, watch your surroundings.
Always watch
you
your
know,
surroundings.
always be safe. You understand what I'm saying?
Watch your surroundings.
And it's like these are the life lessons that us as parents and grandparents, you know, we have to deal with every day. Because I even tell my oldest one with her children, you know, it's like, you know, be careful. You know, sometimes she calls me and she's in the car with my grandchildren, and I'm like, listen, don't get into no road rage with anybody.
No,
you know what I'm saying? You know,
that's
keep
another
it moving.
thing that we can talk about,
You know,
the road
right,
rage.
right. Keep it moving. If the police stop you and pull you over, stop that sassy mouth that you have.
Absolutely.
And just
Cooperate.
submit. You know, submit and cooperate with the officer. And guess what? You'll be surprised how if you have done nothing, you can be on your way. If there was something minor traffic accident, you have to pay for that because you broke the law.
You broke
Take
the
the
law.
ticket and
Absolutely.
find yourself in court. You know what I'm saying? And that's it.
Or just pay it because
Right.
you broke the law.
Exactly. And I tell that to my middle one who lives in New York City. Listen, behave yourself. When you're on the trains, when you're traveling, behave yourself. Let law enforcement be your best friend.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying?
They might
Not
save
your
your
enemy.
life.
Exactly. You know, and these are the life lessons that, you know, I teach the older ones, and this is the life lesson I'm going to teach the baby now coming up. The same thing with your sons. You tell them all the time, and I hear you on the phone with them. You know, well, what was you doing? What did you do?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Blah, blah, you know what I'm saying? And that's
Be
what
safe.
about.
I mean, we got
you know,
good kids because we stay on them. I mean, parents got to stay on their kids because these kids are getting outrageous right now. I mean, it's nothing for them to do. I mean, we see it. We see it right out here where the kids hang out. We work 9 to 11 hours sometime at the complex, and the kids, and they ain't kids. They grown. They kids to us, but they grown men, young men, and they be here for 15 hours doing nothing, sitting on the sidewalk on a crate, doing absolutely nothing.
Doing absolutely nothing.
And that's crazy. And when somebody try to offer them a job, what's a job? They'd rather be on the corner for 15 hours and then do 8 hours at a job and get paid for it at the end of the week or the following week.
Right, you know, and it's like, and you hear me say all the time because we work together a lot. I said, you know, the microwave mentality,
Yeah,
and a lot of
absolutely. They
people
want
ask
something
me,
fast.
what is the microwave mentality? You just said it. They want everything fast.
But
you know what I'm saying?
it's not back in the day where drug dealing was it was a big thing because you was making a lot of money. Today, you don't make no money. No one has money to
It's
do.
finished. It's
Yeah,
finished.
It's finished.
It's finished. That
Yeah.
was the 80s and early 90s,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
it's
saying?
finished.
When we was coming up, it was the 80s for us, you know, and it was like, you know, it's finished. It's done. That hustle is done.
The
You know what I'm
hustle is
saying?
done.
You know, we done locked up a lot of people, and the city, and,
Absolutely.
you know, and township police have locked up a lot of people, and these guys can't even put up, you know, $500 to get themselves out. You know what I'm saying? You know, so you're selling drugs, but you don't even have $500. And back in the days when we was coming up as teenagers, when they got locked up, they was back out.
They was out.
They was
in
the
2
money
minutes.
was under the mattress.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Or
it ain't
they
the
boys
same
made
hustle.
it in 2 seconds to to get them out.
Right,
I mean,
and it
it's
ain't
so
the same
sad.
hustle. It ain't the same hustle. I was never interested in coming up as a kid, and as a teenager, wanting to sell drugs. I've been offered, and I'm like, man, it's two people I'm afraid of: my mama and the police.
Yeah, I was.
So you couldn't get me to do that. I had plenty of offers, $500 a week and sneakers every other week. No, I'm fine with that. You know what I'm saying?
I tried it. I got locked up for it. And that 2 hours in jail changed my whole life. I mean, jail is not for no one, and that's the honest truth. Individuals, if they live that life, I don't know. I
Right,
don't know
and you
what to
took
say.
and changed your life, and got into law enforcement. Thank God you had that opportunity to do
Absolutely.
that. And thank God that the judge gave you the opportunity to do
Absolutely.
that. And throw that out. There's still always hope, and that's what we tell these guys. Listen, you got something minor. Listen, get that fixed. Get that fixed, and get your life together.
But they start so early. They start when they 14, 15 years old, and they keep going. And some parents out here condone it. They let them live with them. They say, all right, I don't care how you get money, bring it to me.
Just sad.
Yeah, it's sad.
Just a sad situation. That
I mean, we see it every day, and it's sad that we have to talk to these young brothers, but they don't want to listen to us.
Yeah,
We old heads now.
I used to hear my mother, God bless the dead. I used to always hear her say, if you don't want them, why did you have them? If you don't want to parent them, and then why are they still with you? Giving to somebody who's going to take care of them and raise them the right way. And if they decide that they want to be a bad boy, a bad girl, and then guess what? You don't hold that accountability because you did your job as a parent.
Absolutely. I mean, if your son or your daughter or anybody will go to jail, and it was stupid that they went to jail, I can't condone that. That's the worst thing in the world. I mean, 5 minutes of you doing something stupid can cost you your whole life.
Right, exactly.
You got to think right from wrong.
Exactly. I heard a friend of mine say one time, we was planning a trip out the country, and I was looking some stuff up, and it was like, well, that particular area, they done took the clubs and the party scene, because when you go on vacation, you go to party scene and drink whatever song, and I called my friend, I was like, I don't think they're doing it in that area no more. Maybe we need to move on to something else. And he said, really? And I was listening to him. I was like, look it up. He said, I don't really have to. And I'm like, why? He said, let me explain something to you, D. He said, in order for a society to change, you have to educate a society.
Mm-hmm.
You have to financially fund a society. And I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, the people in that area, they make their money by holding their businesses.
Mm-hmm.
If the government is not supporting them or educating them, then people are going to go out there and they're going to hustle up as much as they can. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have their food carts and they're going to sell their food out their carts.
Absolutely.
Okay? They're going to have their little crates where they sell their beers out on the streets and stuff like that. We talking about third world countries. And he was like, those people are going to continue to hustle. But if the government's not doing anything, guarantee we can still have fun up and down on that strip, eating food from the carts and buying a local beer from the local guy. You know what I'm saying? And he said, if you look at it, that's exactly what you want because you're supporting the little man.
The little man. We have any comments? No comments. Everybody just listening. Okay. Y'all can write in. Y'all can ask us questions. I mean, we going off on a lot of stuff that we know and we hear. The other day, when we were saying about the kids, I saw a group of kids. They beat up 2 old men. That was crazy. I forgot where it was at. I got to look it up again. This is where the world coming to. That group of kids is walking down the street, beating up people, robbing them. It's getting sad, man, and we have to do something about it.
Yeah,
we have to do something about it, man.
Yeah, it's these games that these kids are coming up with where they think that violence is fun. Where I was watching it on social media where he had to be about 16, 17 years old, and he punches this woman in the face, but he's taunting her first, in front of his friends. And the guy and one of his friends was holding the camera, his phone, taking video of it, and he's reaching back and he's playing and he's making comments about hitting her, and then he eventually holds back and he knocks the woman out. How disgusting, how terribly disgusting that is, where you play a game and you play this game and you put your hands on someone in a violent manner This woman has done nothing to you.
Nothing.
She was sitting in the park, and I think she was a homeless woman, but she was sitting in the park minding her own business, trying to eat something.
These kids.
And he just attacked her, you know. And whoever he is, I hope law enforcement found him in that city, in that area, and throw the book at him.
But his parents gonna say he was a good kid. His parents always protect them. The worst kids, they get protected by their parents. Oh, he was pretty good. You know, he was just getting off parole, and yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Sad.
Yeah,
It's sad.
exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
we going on this because this hitting home on a lot of stuff that's getting dangerous. Out here, all these shootings for the weekend. Now you can't even, and then make it bad because now you saying I can't go out in the city of Newark because I don't want to get hurt. Because 5 minutes I'm partying, the next 5 minutes I'm going to the hospital.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's sad that you want to go out. Everybody want to go out. We still young. I'm in my 50s, but we still young to go out and socialize. But do you do it in the city of Newark? Do you do it in Essex County? Do you do it in these cities that say they're on the top worst list? You know.
And like you said before, you said it's sad, and the reason why it's sad, and you make a great point when you say that. Oh, it's sad because that meaning is, you know, we would like to stay and support.
How you going to support
the county, but if you're afraid for your life and you fear for your life, and you know, it's like, how are you going to keep your money here? And there's so much to worry about. And then when you take your money and you go somewhere else, you're supporting that town, that county, wherever you go, just to have a piece of comfort. So it's like, listen, you're an individual who needs entertainment.
Absolutely.
But are you going to hold back that because you don't want to give your money somewhere else? But you can't keep it into where you live at because it's so dangerous.
It's
so
dangerous.
what do you do? What do you do?
I don't know. We just gotta see if we can come up with a solution. See if law enforcement, the politicians, the governor, everybody gotta come together.
Everybody got to chip in their part,
yeah.
you know. And listen, let me explain something to you. And this is not to knock anybody at all. It's like, you know, you hear people say, "Well, we just have to pray." Listen, let me explain something to you. You just can't sit down and you just can't pray and pray. You know, the Most High said, you know, works and faith.
Yeah.
Okay? So if I'm going to pray and have faith, and then I need to put in the work. We need to get up off our butts and just stop relying on that.
Yeah.
Get up off our butts. Let's come together. Let's focus on the topic and let's work on that. Okay? Because I don't believe in the whole, you know, this whole marching and stuff like that. I don't believe in
it.
that.
It don't work.
Yeah, I
It
just
don't
don't
work.
believe
I
in it.
mean, you know.
If someone else believe in it, and then that's you, not to knock you, don't knock God believe, whatever song, but that whole marching up and down.
Hands on.
No.
Somebody, I mean, at one time they criticized Steve Harvey for going there to talk. No one else went there to talk to him. See what he says. I mean, you know, it's two sides to a story. If I come to you and I talk to you and I see nothing's gonna happen with you, we gotta go somewhere else. We gotta go around it.
Right.
I mean,
right.
it's
You know.
sad out here.
Yeah, and it's bad because this whole presidency thing
Oh, that was
has
the
been a
worst.
circus. You know, it still is a circus with this individual. You know, and but however, I'm not gonna blaspheme him. He's still
No.
the U.S. president.
He's the president.
Right. He's still the U.S. president. I
And-
still show him
and
respect. but I don't
everybody
like it.
voted for him because
So-
he's in office.
Right, so now you gotta, you know, I've heard people say, you know, I hope they get the president that they want. I hope they get the president because they slammed Obama so bad. It's like, I hope they get the president that they want. And now a lot of them got the president that they want. You know, I mean, you can't agree with everybody, you know, and you're not going to agree with everything that anybody, you know, with everybody does. You know, and if you don't like an individual and how they handle policies, how they run and stuff, you don't have to badmouth them. You don't have to, you know, say nasty things about them. I've never said nothing nasty about a U.S. president. Even I didn't like him. I'm not a big fan of Bush Jr. at all. But you know what? I didn't call him names and whatever so on. Why? Because you still have to have respect for your U.S. president.
And he's the president.
And at that
He's
time,
the
he was the
leader.
president. That's right.
He's
You
the
know,
chief of the
commander in
world.
chief. That's
Yeah.
right. You know, so I didn't say nothing negative. The only thing I said is that I don't like
We don't like
his
a couple
decisions.
We don't like a couple of supervisors, but we don't bash them.
Right, exactly. We don't like certain people who leads us, but we don't bash
We don't
them.
bash 'em.
You know, we don't bash them. You know, and that's what it's about. But you'll have people who overstep them boundaries and call them names and say nasty things. You know, it's not fair. It's not nice. You know, I mean, respect goes a long way. You know what I'm
Respect goes a
saying?
long way.
You know, we partners, we work together. We don't agree on every topic.
No.
Sometimes we may have heated discussions about something, but at the end of the day, we have respect for each other.
Absolutely.
You know
and
what I'm saying?
That's what you gotta have, respect for everyone.
Yeah, you know, and if something that we disagree on that we need to do together, then we'll compromise. Hey,
Yeah.
listen, you know what? Well, let's do it like this. Or either, you know what? Try it your way and see if it works. If it don't work, then try it my way. And then if my way don't work, and then guess what? We both fucked up.
Yeah.
Let's find a solution.
Yeah, let's find a solution.
Yeah, find a solution and work it together. And it can be heated, but you know, it ain't no, oh, you motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You just don't treat people like that. You
No,
know what I'm saying?
you can't do that.
You know, you gotta
We're
have
trying
respect.
to be fair with everything that we're talking about.
Right. Even with some of the people that we deal with, you know, they come over to me after a while and they say, "Oh, you're so mean, you're so mean." And I said, "What makes me mean? Give me a description of what made me mean." And you know, and they stand there and they're looking at me and they really can't tell me. I said, "Oh, because I told you that you have to leave this corner." Well, it's called constructive authority.
Absolutely.
It's called constructive authority. Hey guys, listen, you have to leave the corner. I didn't curse at you. I didn't downgrade you. So because I told you that you're in violation of something makes me mean?
Make you mean.
No. What it is that you don't like that.
Authority.
Exactly. You don't like authority. And when I told you that you couldn't hang here and that you have to move, you don't want nobody telling you what to do. But unfortunately, we live in a world where you have to follow laws, rules, and policies. And
a
if
lot
you
of
don't
people
want to, and then what you need to do is you need to find a place with 4 walls, all white, and lock yourself in there and don't ever come out.
And don't come out. then you don't have to follow rules because you got your own rules.
Right. You have your own rules. Exactly. You know, wherever you go, you're going to have to follow rules. And then guess what? If you don't follow those, there's always going to be some type of enforcement to make sure that you follow them.
Follow rules.
And if not, and then you're going to be forced into following some, or you're going to pay fines or whatever, so on. You know?
Or you be in jail.
Or you be in jail. That's it. So simple, easy.
Well,
You know.
I mean, any comments? No comments?
Okay.
Everybody just listening? We just got listeners today? All right. So when the next time we on so we can tell our listeners?
Well, basically, we're really not on during the week. But if something pops up, and then we'll come on during the week. So all the NJShield followers and listeners as well, we'll be back Saturday definitely at 10 p.m. and Sunday at 10 p.m. just as well. And if anything pops up during the week, and then we'll be on for
we'll be
special
back on,
reporting,
yeah.
but it won't be that long. It would just be for that, and we'll view it again. Okay,
Absolutely.
so. I mean, I think it was a great session tonight. It touching bases on
A lot of
the
things,
crime
yeah.
that's related in our area and who's been shot and those rewards. So once again, those rewards, if you have any information leading to the arrest and
Of that
conviction of any individual, of a 6-year-old,
Crime
you know,
Stoppers.
crime-
1-800 Crime Stoppers.
Exactly. Call it in.
Call it in, give a number. You don't have to give your name.
Exactly. Do that. Okay. So once again, I'm Doug Worthen, Chief Instructor NJShields. Robert Thompson, Chief Instructor NJShields. Have a good night, and
Good
we'll
night.
see you over the weekend. Peace.
Peace.